Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
You know that whole, I made an AI to listen to blah, 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 blah.
I made an AI listen to My Chemical Romance on repeat for 3 years, and now it wrote its own My Chemical Romance, like that kind of thing. Yeah,
I made an AI listen to every episode of Mabim Bam, and now it's made its own
yeah,
fifth brother.
exactly. Where are we going with this? What have you done?
I have made an AI listen to all 190 intros to Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
Oh, okay. What have you got?
Well, let's read it out together. Intro, exterior, daytime. Several people are asleep at a bus stop.
Okay.
Yup.
That's quite a setup.
Yep. It is very cold and open here.
Ha ha ha! There are two meanings to open.
And the coldness implies that it is one of those cold opens like they have on the Saturday Night Live. My hair is now on fire.
Oh no!
Everyone applauds.
Yep.
Someone dances down the street just past us.
That's very Queer and Pleasant Strangers right there.
Oh, a police officer falls over
Yay!
and is run over.
Yay!
And then catches fire.
Yay!
And then tell me about things that you have seen and interacted with and audibly understood.
Okay, yeah. That is, I guess, the things we do.
Yep. Two queer trans ladies. Yep. Well,
yeah, they got that right.
That's one that we regularly talk about. Skits. It's just a list now. It's just become a list.
That is a very accurate summary of what we're talking about this episode.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little bit unsettling.
It's almost like they're looking at the show notes. Oh, weird. That's the I mean, I guess. Well, good.
Just about got it, I guess.
Oh, and then so I have to do the laugh TM.
Oh yes.
I got you. Roll credits. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Harris Magnet Dale. And we're here with another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
That we wrote ourselves.
Exactly! This is a scripted episode that we did and not an AI. We're definitely reading this off a script. Look at our natural script writing abilities. It's been a week. I feel like every quip starts with us going, a week has occurred again.
That's because we live in post-Brexit Britain.
I mean, we live eventful lives. Events occur. We are here.
We live in a...
We sure do live in a society like that movie The Joker Man.
Like the Jokerman.
Yeah.
A society
like Charles Jokerman said, we live in a society.
Oh, it was Charles Jokerman.
Yeah, Charles Jokerman from the movie The Jokerman.
I see, yes.
What have you played this week?
What have I played this week?
Yeah.
Things I've interacted with my fingers.
Yeah.
We played some things together.
Tell me about
Mum and Dad came over. We played some Tumult Royale.
We did.
A game they've apparently had a while but never played.
Yeah, so a little bit of background. My parents are very, they have historically played a very small number of board games, and they enjoy board games, but they don't play outside of their comfort zone, and they find rule books a little intimidating sometimes.
Yep. Like they play Monopoly, and they play Clue, and then they learned Dicey Dungeons Catan.
Yeah, like Settlers of Catan was about the most sort of complicated they'd made it to.
They had to download an English version of the rulebook because they got it in German, didn't they?
Indeed, they did. Dicey Dungeons Catan. But yeah, we've been trying to introduce them to slightly more complicated. Oh, not even more complicated, but just more interesting, different board games. Like we talked about before. We got them. Azul Summer Pavilion.
Mm-hmm. We got them Ticket to Ride as well.
Not
Summer
Pavilion. Stained Glass of Sinestra. But yeah, they received a board game and they were a little intimidated to try it, but also they wanted to try it, so they brought it to us.
Brought it to us.
They were like, "Hey,
the board game gurus.
can you help us learn board game?" And we, did our best to read through this not terribly well written instruction booklet, but we sort of muddled our way through and worked it out.
And it wasn't even one that we could just go on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
there's a couple of video reviews and a couple of playthroughs, but no
here's a 3-minute watch it.
Here's Rodney
how
Smith
to play.
teaching you how to play it.
They managed to find the one Rodney didn't pay attention to, I guess.
But I wonder why.
I mean, I didn't think it was a terrible game. It's got some balance issues in 4-player.
It really does.
But here's the gist. You've got a grid of different kinds of places where you can build stuff, and more populated areas where you can build more things will be more expensive to build on, but that's a space that you can keep coming back to. And the general idea is that you're collecting resources with which to build statues in order to control more of the board. Because you're royalty. And popularity is used for reasons as well. That's your other mechanic. There's some mechanics in this game I really like. I don't think they necessarily work, but I like the concepts.
It's a push-your-luck game, so the whole point is you will have all these tiles in the middle of the table. You will have 20 seconds to try and snatch them up. They will have one of 3 different icons on. Bread, stone, and hammers.
Yep. But the gimmick is that you spin this little wheel before you start, and it'll be a certain number. Usually I believe it's between 2 and 5, with 3 and 4 being most common. And the deal is, hey, that many of each resource have to be left in the middle at the end. So if it's, let's say, 4 is rolled, there's going to be a value of 4 bread left on the table, 4 metal, 4 hammers. And if that's not the case, there is a consequence for the player who took the most resources, who was the most greedy.
They will use all but one of their lowest denominations.
Yeah, it's basically, hey, you were too greedy, you don't get to keep most of what you took. And I like that bit of the game.
Yeah.
I think that bit of the game works really well. I also like that if you have there are other resources that you will probably have more of eventually if you haven't been winning, if you're falling a little behind in the game, which at least in theory will allow you to deduct a number off of how many you've taken so that you'll be less perceived as greedy.
But it's only 1.
Yeah, that's one of the balance issues with this game. That needs to be
slightly.
Yeah, the reward for being in last place needs to be a slightly increased amount of greed you can have to let you compensate and catch up. I feel like 2 or 3 reduction in resources would really open up catching up a bit.
Yeah.
And I think you could totally house rules this to be a lot more playable. Or a lot better balance.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's the gist, is you scrounge as many resources as you can, try not to lose them by being too greedy, then you got a purchase step of, I can either build on an adjacent space for paying its cost, or any field or forest for paying double the usual field or forest cost if you've trapped yourself in a corner and need to sort of leap away.
And then you're just building edifices to your own glory.
Yeah, I didn't dislike the game, but it has problems.
And the game can end any time after about the 5th round, based on the disparity between the person who's done the most and the least number of statues.
Yeah.
I think it's on the 5th round. If there's 7 between the two, then the winner is declared. If there's 5 in the next round, 3 in the round after that.
A difference of 7 on that round really isn't difficult to achieve because, let's say you're...
Well, especially not in 4-player.
Yeah, in 4-player, there is a real, resources scramble, and, you being in last can, really drag on for a few turns. And if you're in first, let's say you've got a lead of 5, being able to put 2 statues down for free if you get the most popularity by overspending on purchases, which you can probably do because you're in the lead, that's a quick way to go, and now I'm even further ahead of that. That jump, it doesn't feel like the game needs to rush itself to its endpoint that quickly.
I mean, I didn't particularly want it to go on much longer.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy that...
Yeah, It felt like it needed to build up, like, hey, you are approaching an end state better. Both games, it felt like the ending came sort of out of nowhere with a little bit of a lack of fanfare.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be better in 2-player, but, like, the balance on this game doesn't feel right, and I'd be very curious if there's any good fan tweaks to the rules.
I don't know if it's popular enough to receive those.
Yeah, I feel like giving the person in last a bigger greed catch-up bonus would help a lot.
Maybe.
I feel like not giving double bonuses on those last 4 rounds would really help. Like, maybe a higher penalty for when you become the royalty and you get to place a free statue but you lose popularity.
Yeah,
like,
it does feel like maybe you should lose more for that.
I feel like maybe losing 10 for becoming the royalty, getting 2 or 3 reduction for being in last place would change the balance of that game in a way I think would probably help rubber band it a bit.
Yeah. And also there is a degree of just plain boring luck. Because if you are not picking up the tiles that you want in the thing, I mean, they're all random and face down. You can't guarantee that they're going to get them. And then also the fact that you take some tiles out of the pool before you start.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, there was that one round, it was like, everyone was like, there was no stone to be had.
Yeah.
I couldn't. And stone is the one thing that you need to do everything in
Yes,
the game.
you took a single stone tile and that made you the greediest player.
Yes. So I took one that had a value of 3 on it. But the fact that I had only taken 1 tile was enough, because I think there was 1 other stone that somebody else had, and all of the rest had ended up in the chuck-out
You
pile.
took what was a very reasonable number of resources to take, and were fucked over, and you were already in last place, and were just like, oh, I guess I'm in last place for a bit longer because I can't do anything.
Yeah. It feels very difficult to recover, and just not interesting enough.
And not likely enough to make the first place person lose ground. But, like, I didn't have a bad time with it. I am glad that, I'm glad I gave it a go, but it's not a game that I would, ever recommend to anyone.
No.
But
it would not be on my gift list as recommendations.
I played this and was like, I would much rather tell people go play, like, Little Town or something.
Yeah, Little Town's adorable.
Yeah, it's adorable, it's great. It does what this does a lot more effectively, I think.
Yeah, you get to build a thing, and it's not about, like, grabbing resources from the populace and potentially leaving them to starve.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that the mechanic is we don't have enough food. We are literally just gonna take it from the greediest person's hands. I'm like, yeah, I can get behind a little of that. But, yeah.
Equal distribution.
Exactly. We played some other board games as well, didn't we?
We did. We played Pandemic. We taught your parents Pandemic.
Yeah, my mum seems really into playing more Pandemic.
I think the fact that we lost had a lot to do with that. I suspect that she's got the no fuck you board game. I'm coming back and I'm going to destroy you.
We lost by literally a single turn. It was like, if we can survive this infection phase, we can win.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I get the impression my mum got that, like, oh, we were so close, though. Oh, we could do this. And I'm like, yes, you see. I was really impressed with how quickly they took to it, and that they seemed to get what was going on, and, didn't require too much hand-holding about turn choices.
And you can tell that we weren't quarterbacking because we lost.
Oh, exactly. Like, there were some suboptimal moves made. Didn't say anything about them. We were just like, do the thing.
Because I didn't want them to have the same experience I had with my very first game of Pandemic of like, well, I might as well have not fucking been here.
Exactly. And, like, because that was the thing. Like, my dad's first response was like, oh, you can just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And we'd be like, no. This game has a habit of people doing that. We want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad played as the medic, which I think he got on really well with, because it was like, here is my character's one very clear goal. Here's the thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my mum played as a quarantine specialist, who, again, very simple, like, hey, if a thing's going to explode, if you can be there, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had fun.
Yeah.
I was very pleased to see them get on with a good co-op-y, like a good board game.
Yeah.
Like a good board game.
So the fact that we played that and the game we're going to talk about next And we, at the end of the day, they were like, we're thinking about getting rid of Monopoly and Cluedo.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
And the other one we're going to talk about as well, like both of them, they were like, "Oh yeah, if you're thinking of a Christmas,
if you're strapped for a Christmas present
yeah,
idea for us, either of those two."
We found 2 board games that they both played and went, "Yeah, I'd like to own this." And I was like, "We did it. We're converting them." And here's the thing: if we get them pandemic, let's say by Winter Festival this year, I reckon by next year we could have them on Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah.
I think we could get them there.
Yeah.
I think Dad would really enjoy the oh, we open a box, things change, what's happened? I think Dad would like that.
Yeah.
I think Dad would enjoy it. We'll give him a year to get good at regular Pandemic first. We'll let him
Get good scrubs.
Yeah, we'll let him get the ropes.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the other board game we played with them?
Yeah, let's talk about Sushi Go Party.
Yeah, we've talked about this one before. It's
It's an adorable card drafting set collection game.
Yeah, you have a hand of cards, you take one, pass them to the next player, you keep going until you've picked all the cards. Depending on combinations of them you have, you get points. Sushi Go Party specifically has a bunch of different variations of like, hey, change what things are in the deck and they'll score differently and that changes how you play. Which, such a wonderful, wonderful idea for mix and match.
Yeah, you get a good variety of different types of games. You get the fact that like you can play it with like better with larger and smaller groups.
Yeah. Oh, Mum was hustling us on that.
Oh yeah.
She won almost every game she played. She kept like just a slight lead. She really was getting it.
Yeah, I was really curious what she was doing because she was sitting next to me, so I was taking all of her cards. And for like the first 3 rounds, I was just constantly being given dessert cards. I was like, what's going on? Why are you giving me dessert cards, student?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to play the game.
No, but she had
she still won.
Look, she had a plan. She played the long game. She was not going for the flashy stuff that was like everyone's going for. She was going for the like, right, how can I make points out of other stuff? She was thoughtful and she
Oh yes.
really got it.
Yeah, I mean, they play like card games.
Yeah.
Like a standard deck of card games. So I figured something like Sushi Go would be great for them.
They were very eagerly like, ooh, we think the grandkids would get on with this. And like, I was like, yeah, this is...
Yeah. And you can play it with like a large enough group. Some of those sets will get way more vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can play that.
Yeah.
You know, with the kids, maybe pull out something like the chopsticks.
Yeah.
But I imagine you could make like a nice set out of that to play with, like young kids.
And it's really nice watching them get on with good games and be like, oh, I want to play this more. I'm like, yes, join the board game collective. we're gonna tell you all the good ones.
Yeah.
We'll teach you Clank eventually. You'll have a wild time.
Yeah.
I think they could handle Clank. They know moving around a board, and I think they could handle buying power and attack power as things. I think they could manage that.
Yeah, I think you know that is probably going to be like the next big one.
Yeah. Or even like a stepping stone to that might be Star Realms. Like I think we could teach them Star Realms.
I mean, if they hadn't been so into like dropping hints about if you want to get us a board game for UDP, get us one of these two. I was considering getting them something like Dominion.
I mean, spoilers. I suspect we'll probably get both of them for them. They seem to enjoy them. Yeah. Hooray! We had a good board game time.
We did.
Do
you want to talk about some other things?
I can talk about some other things. I've been playing some of them Blidio Blames.
Some Blidio Blames?
Yeah,
the
some
pocketed
of them
mons and such.
Computed videos. I've started playing through Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah.
So actually playing through it on official, hardware and stuff now. I mean, I was always doing that. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Diamond and Pearl was a generation that just kind of hit me at the wrong time. It's one of my...
We talked about this as was your GCSE.
Yeah. It was one of my least taking things in years of my life. And what I'll say about Diamond and Pearl, I know that this is probably ultimately a positive, but for me it's not how I like Pokemon's games working. This game does a lot of, hey, go to a town, there's a gym, you can't go there yet, just keep going, you'll come back to it later. My brain has a lot of tasks it feels like it has to remember and go back to, and I'm like, no, let me go to a town, do basically everything and then progress. Let me be my methodical self.
Yay.
And I feel like this didn't help with the original game, and like my like the Pokemon in the game are great. I love their designs, I love their attacks, I love like the Pokemon themselves. I don't gel well with the weird the fact that many towns in a row will go, oh yeah, you're gonna have to come back here later, just don't worry about it, just keep going. I'm like, that's not what I like.
No, you like, I have cleared this 100% and moved on to the next thing.
Yeah. That being said, it's a Pokemon game. I'm having a great time.
I'm glad.
I've been saving it as my like quiet nights where I can just play this. It's just for me. It's just good.
I notice you've been avoiding playing when you're stressed.
Oh god, yeah. I here's the thing. If I'd gotten to the shiny hunting stage, I could do that while stressed because repetitive actions and whatnot. The going my first time through the story, nah. If I'm not in the right headspace, not gonna play it. I wanna engage with it when I'm in the right state to enjoy it properly. Particularly given its non-linear nature, I wanna go in right. But as I've said before, it's a very, very by the numbers Pokemon remake. It is not the flashy, over the top remake that many of the other past Pokemon remakes have been. It's a perfectly serviceable, nice looking, good sounding remake. There's some little bits of changes in there that are nice for shiny hunting, and particularly for like making shiny hunting techniques that were a bit obtuse a bit more accessible. You can have Pokemon run around behind you, which is always the best thing. I like that. I'm a big fan. Let me have my little Chimchar run around behind me and toddling around. I like Pokemon.
So it's good Pokemon.
It's a good Pokemon.
It's good Pokemon Diamond, but it's neither brilliant nor shining.
Well, it might be shining in that the plot introduces a little bit of stuff about emphasizing shiny Pokemon a little bit. Just a little bit, which is good for me. But yeah, I've never been the greatest Diamond and Pearl fan structurally, and this is not the most impressive remake of a Pokemon game. It's still a Pokemon game. I'm having a lovely time.
Yay!
What about you? You played anything else?
Oh yes, I played some video games myself. You know, I occasionally delve into those.
Yeah.
I played some Dicey Dungeons because that came to Game Pass.
Yeah, I've played that.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's a little RPG. You play as dice.
Yeah, people that have gone on some sort of game show thing, and part of the thing is you are sent into the dungeon by this slightly fey game show host.
Yes,
Who's like, yes, it's my monkey's paw wish will come for you.
Yes, it's a bunch of people who made wishes that had negative consequences, and now they're dice. Seems to be.
So basically, it's like, what do you hope to win from this game? Well, you're going to have to be a dice and go into this thing, and no matter how many times you win, you may not actually get what you want, or we might not give it to you in the way you think you will. Mwahahaha.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. It's a justification for a roguelike, and.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've played it, but I seem to remember the way it works is you roll a bunch of dice and then you pick what abilities to slot them into that will require or benefit from certain dice.
Yeah, so you have 6 small or 3 large or any combination of slots that you like.
Yeah.
And you will sort of plug abilities into it. And you might have an ability that's like, put anything below a 3 here, or 3 or below, and you will get that much health.
Yeah, or put a 5 in here and you'll do a really big hit, but it has to be that specific number.
Yeah. Or cumulatively put at least 5 in here, and that will do 2 damage.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of just sort of throwing your junk dice into it.
Yeah. And there's a good variety of... It almost feels a bit deck buildery in how you collect and decide which abilities to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, to run with, and how to set them up so that, like, most numbers you roll will do something useful.
Yep. And then you've got all the different... There's the 6 different classes, because they're all D6, so everything happens pretty much in multiples of 6.
Yeah.
There's the robot one, who's got quite an interesting mechanic, where instead of, like, rolling a dice, well, they do kind of roll a dice, but it adds up into a total, and they can potentially, like, keep, like, pushing the luck to gamble a bit higher and roll another dice, and they'll either cap out and get a jackpot, or they will, like, completely bug out for having sort of gone too far.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of abilities you can unlock that will be like, even if you glitch everything, you can still have a dice spot, so you can still use that final die.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's and the witch who has how to put it best. So she's got spell slots.
Yeah.
And you unlock more spell slots, so instead of having the individual items sitting in your pack, you have actual slots. Like, okay, I'm going to learn this spell, it's going to go here. So whenever I roll a 4, I can put this down onto the board. I have 4 open slots that I can put spells that I've learnt into, and then I can use the dice to actually play those cards themselves.
There's some neat mechanics they play around with. There's some interesting stuff.
I actually find the some of the later characters way more interesting to play than the first ones.
100%. I think it falls into the trap of trying to give you the simple characters first at the expense of them being interesting, and you have to sort of stick with it long enough to go, oh, there's cool shit that I'm going to unlock. It's like the early characters are not particularly...
Well, I did a run with the first character and I was like, cool, I really like that. And then it was like, you have to in order to progress, you have to play with most of the other characters.
Oh, yeah.
And then I played with the thief. I was like, I don't like this. I just want to go back to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least I finished the thief. Okay, I guess this one's going to be way, way worse. And I played the next one. I was like, oh, it was actually pretty good because I think that's the robot. And then, it got sort of progressively better. I wasn't sure about the witch at first, but then really, really got into that one.
The thief is not a good second one.
No.
It really put me off trying new characters, because it felt like a significant downstep from the first, the base dice.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the second episode, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Is way harder than the first.
Yes.
And I've been having less fun trying to sort of bang my head more against that and try and get through. What about you? What have you played?
Well, the thing I've been playing while Brain has been very busy is I've been playing a bunch of The Binding of Isaac Repentance.
Ooh.
Finally came to Switch in Europe, considerably delayed after the Switch version anywhere else, which was considerably after the PC version. But Binding of Isaac Repentance is apparently the final DLC for The Binding of Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a bunch of new levels, it adds a bunch of new items, it redoes a lot of the animations and the audio in nice ways. Like, there's a lot of things that were simple animations that are now like, oh, there's a lot more frames of animation and a lot more elaborate animation going on. New sprites for a lot of enemies. Like, it's a nice visual overhaul. I have really been enjoying the new weapons. There's a lot of really fun synergies to play around with. There is a weapon that makes your tears cause rifts that will pull things in and do big damage to them, which synergizes really well with the brimstone laser because it has I think it's like a 20% chance per hit, but the brimstone is doing hit. It's doing so many consecutive hits, you're getting the rift really consistently. There's experimental upgrade or experimental resource or whatever it's called, where you will get a random combination of big stat boost and big stat drop in some combination that you won't know until you take it, and the benefit will be real good, but you don't know what you're going to be sacrificing to get it. And there are ways you can play around with that. There's some fun new Devil Room items. One of my favorite ones of those I've been playing around with is the fake PhD, or the scam PhD or something. And the deal is, there are no longer just good pills. Pills that only have a positive effect, no more of those. But every bad pill now has a good effect countering it. So every pill becomes some good, some bad, usually more good, but again, you know that every pill you take is gonna hurt something.
Okay.
Which, again, can be fun with risk-reward playing around builds, and can... A lot of these you don't know what's gonna go up and what's gonna go down, can lead to some, really wild, oh, that stat's amazing now because it keeps shooting up in ridiculous amounts. Sure, I'm going to have to play around my limitations, but that's what I'm building around now. I like some of the new bosses. There's an adorable little fly that is a murderous bullet hell friend.
But it's baby.
It's just a baby that wants you dead with bullets. That's definitely the best new boss. There's also one that just looks like Bumbo from The Legend of Bumbo and stuff. But very big and like a bull sort of charging headfirst towards things. This is pretty fun. I'm enjoying The Binding of Isaac Repentance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might try it again. I bought the original Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
The unfinished doesn't have a joypad, doesn't have 8 directional movement.
Oh.
I also have the basement collection, so I have the prototype version of Isaac. And then I got Afterbirth.
Yeah.
I think, which was the second or third thing. So, and I'm not great at it. I've only ever defeated Mum once. It was on a live stream I was covering for you.
Yes.
And I've never managed it since.
You had the pressure, and you're like, I'm gonna be a gamer. I'm gonna do it.
The power of an audience of about 100 people was enough to push me forward. Very much appreciated.
Sometimes that's how it. Sometimes how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at The Binding of Isaac, but I enjoy it, and I feel momentarily
You say you're not
very
good
powerful.
at it. You are brilliant at it. Like, you've got all the way to Satan, and I've never got that far.
I'm certainly not bad, but I also lose a lot of runs go nowhere. But I have fun regardless, and it's one of those games that, like, once every year or so, I'll go real hard on for a couple of weeks and just be like, those mechanics are good, and the gameplay loop makes me want to keep coming back.
What else have you played?
I think that's everything I've played this week. Have you played anything else?
I've played a good few other things. I'm going to nip through them. I played some Guild of Dungeoneering because that was free on Epic.
Tell me about that.
It's a dungeon crawling game. It's a very simple dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Played with cards. Depending on what kind of class you are playing, you will have like a different base deck. And then you will have pretty much the same sort of cards bumbling around as loot in the dungeons themselves. So the story is that you have set up this Guild of Dungeoneering. You are basically putting up posters going, yeah, you come and do some dungeoneering with me, and I'll take all the money. And you're sending these people out as sort of chumps to go and do dungeon crawls.
This reminds me of a little bit of that board game with the shop we did, of like, you go off and do the thing, we'll give you the gear, and...
Yeah,
it's...
Bargain Quest.
Yes, I know it's not the same, but it's got those vibes, yes. It sounds.
The art style, for the most part, like the maps where you build your guild are like a pen and paper RPG. It looks amazing. Well, as you build the map, the dungeons themselves, those are like also like a pen and paper RPG. And then you'll like bump into a monster and have like a little fight, which is done as a card battle. It's a fascinating idea. I don't quite like the way they keep using stupidity as a stat at the beginning and the way they talk about that. But overall, the game loop, now that I've got a bit more used to it, is kind of fun. And I didn't pay for it, so I don't feel guilty.
Yay!
So, yes. Like, initially I was trying to do like I'll just keep dragging my dungeoneer around in circles and just level them up and level them up. Nope, they sort of cap out at about level 4 or 5.
Yeah, they clearly anticipated you.
Well, I was like, I'm just going to try and make money. I'm going to try and level up because that's how I play dungeon crawlers. I want to be a bit over level before I go and fight the boss.
Yeah.
Some of them seem to be sort of puzzly. Like, yes, you've got 7 moves, 7 turns, try and power yourself up and then fight a boss.
Yeah.
Or you've got a couple of moves and then you're going to be chased down by a giant mimic. And I haven't quite worked out what they want me to do necessarily with all of those. But I do seem to be progressing now that I'm just going, okay, I will fight like 4 or 5 things to get me to level 4, and then I'll go and fight the boss as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And all too often it really does feel like it's falling to like random stats. But perhaps I do need to just like unlock more armor and equipment, because at the moment there just isn't the armor and equipment.
I mean, even if that is the case, it feels like not great early game design.
I don't know if I'm just bad at it, but like now that I am having slightly longer runs, it's not feeling quite so bad.
Yeah.
And I've got like a good number of different classes open. But it very often feels like, oh, you've got like a couple of classes open. Whatever the newest ones are the only ones you're really going to be using. You're going to be... Yeah. You kind of want to have like at least 2 of a certain level. Or two types of like whatever the highest level you can possibly get are running at the same time.
Yeah.
So that you can like, oh, that one died, I'll go and do a mission with that class now. Okay, another one of those has come in while this one was out dying, I'll come in and do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like it feels like my bottom level ones have largely been forgotten now.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know, I guess they just stand around in my guild now. Maybe they can work in the gift shop. I don't know. What else have I played? I played Pikuniku.
Pikuniku!
I finally got around to playing Pikuniku.
Oh, that game's great.
It's kind of adorable.
It's adorable and has more interesting things to say than I anticipated it would.
Yes. So I'm a big fan of the Katamari games.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Watam, and I know a lot of people really didn't get on with that. They were like, from the creator of We Love Katamari. Katamari Damacy. And you play Watam? And they were like, I don't get it. It's just people holding hands and things to find. And I found it oddly charming. And like a lot of people were like, I don't get this game.
I mean, look, you have to be accepting that this isn't going to be what a video game usually is. If you go in with that mindset, there's a lot to love.
We're holding hands and making stacks of friends.
Hey, friends!
Yeah. being friends and having a nice adventure with like nice colours and things.
Yeah.
And Pikuniku is you wake up in a cave, you chat to a ghost, and then you go out and destroy capitalism.
Yes! hey, what if the most colourful, cute, adorable thing you've ever seen was about anti-capitalism and big long legs?
Big long legs. I unlocked the arms. I unlocked the arms. Though there is a way of getting arms as a like an item that you can wear. Because basically you go through the game as just this ball with a pair of eyes and little leggies.
You're an oval with eyes and big long legs.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've got a very sort of fluid movement, like walk cycle. It seems like a very chill little walk.
Yeah.
And it gets in trouble for kicking things quite a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of personality in that walk cycle.
There is. And also, like, when you start to get hats and things, like the sunflower hat.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a red and colourful. And then the water hat. It's like, I water the flowers, and then I jump on the flowers. And then I go to the beach and met a crab.
That game's so charming. I forgot how charming that game is. I need to go replay that game.
But then at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, you have to kick the... Because I was like, oh no, I've come out of my cave and everyone's scared of me, but that's not who I am. I'm not the bad person. And I'm like wandering around not being the bad person going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Looked up a walkthrough, it's like, oh, you need to kick the spider across the hole. Why would I kick the little spider? The spider is friend.
Yeah.
But literally I could not proceed until I had kicked the spider.
I know. But I mean, after that, capitalism.
Also, like, I didn't learn about the roll mechanic until quite late.
Yeah.
Again, I had to look up a walkthrough. I was like, I cannot get through this. What am I missing? Is there, like, do I get other skills? No, you've had a roll ability this whole time and you didn't know. Okay, maybe teaching me the buttons would have been helpful.
Yeah.
But it is an oddly charming little game about destroying capitalism and kicking people into space.
Yay.
And the last thing I played, I finished 100% Lego The Hobbit.
You were having a bad time, wouldn't stop playing.
Like a lot of games. I get to a point, it's like, Oh, I'm fucking finishing this game.
You do. I was gonna say you love, but you frequently do a good spite finish. You will spitefully complete a game.
I will.
You're like, I'm not gonna let this shitty game fucking beat me.
The thing is, like, that... I think ever since I 100%ed my first Lego game, and I can't even remember which one it was, it definitely wasn't the Lego Star Wars games. Ever since I 100%ed my first one, I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm just going to keep doing this. Every time I sit down and play a Lego game, I'm going to 100% it. Like, any of the ones in that sort of style. So not like Lego Worlds, fuck Lego Worlds.
I mean, I 100% get it. They're the kind of, like, kind of fun, mindless collectathons that can be kind of fun to 100%.
And they're kind of manageable for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, I've done the Lego Star Wars 1 and 2. I've done Lego Force Awakens. I've done Lego Lord of the Rings. I've now done Lego The Hobbit. I've got Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. I played 85 minutes and walked away because that is not a good game.
Yeah, this also wasn't. This one got real fucking fetch quest grindy.
There's 250 mithril bricks in that you need in order to access the 13 red bricks, I think. And there's just so many quests. And there's one of them that is just really badly signposted.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that thing on the map. I can see how I get to that thing. But I cannot open that door. And there's, like, people all over forums on the internet going, it's broken, it doesn't work, what do I do? Oh, I changed the graphics, I did this thing, I had to teleport to this area and then ride a horse this way around the town, and 1 in 5 chance that it will work. I played most of the way through the game without the power-ups related to what was through that door that I needed. Luckily, all I had to really do was, as soon as I went in and handed the mithril fishing pole to somebody nearby, unlock the whole thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there were like 8 more quests I could do, like, back to back to back to back, because I had everything else I needed for it. It was this one thing I was being locked off from.
Yeah, 300 side quests sounds like a lot in a game that already expects you to grind resources.
Yeah, it feels really weird. I looked at my, like, Steam stats for the other Lego games I've played.
Yeah.
I've only played like 10 extra hours on this than I have on any of the others, but it felt so much longer.
It felt very disrespectful of your time.
So disrespectful of my time. Like, I don't even know what it was about this game.
Well, I can tell you what it is about this game, I reckon. I think I've got a theory. Much like the Hobbit movies, they wanted to be faithful to the movie source material that is the movie, and overly bloviate and drag out what should have been a much shorter experience.
Oh yeah, and don't even get me started on the fact that, like, it's based on the movies, so I had to deal with all the stuff that's in the movies that's not in the books that just grates on me as somebody who grew up with, like, a lot of, like, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings media.
Yeah. Was that everything you've played this week, then?
Yes, that's everything I played this week.
Well then, time for this. Hello and welcome. Today's updates, mundane but nice things here on the news. Things we have done that make us happy. On we go. I had a very nice sausage sandwich for breakfast. It was very nice. It was very warm in a cold morning.
I woke up and found that my socks that I'd remembered to put on the radiator last night were lovely and toasty warm. So I rolled out of bed, popped them straight on, and I had very lovely warm toesies.
I had a lovely, lovely cuddle with my kitten this morning. A tiny little baby of a cat.
Oh, little Fluffums.
Exactly. Tiny little baby had a lovely cuddle.
That's a lovely baby you've got there,
Oh, yes.
I saw a picture of Fluffums. Fluffums is adorable and the best kittens.
Oh, that's lovely. I plugged a USB in today. It went in the right way first time, first try.
You didn't have the
didn't
the USB superposition issue.
No, exactly. Wonderful. This has been another update of mundane but nice news. More of this every time the bleak alarm goes off.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay, I guess we're back sooner than expected. More nice things.
Puppies.
that was delicious. Thank you so much.
Most welcome anytime.
I must ask, can I get the recipe? I'd love to make this myself.
It's some onions, just some onion, like about that much.
What, like an onion?
It depends on the size of the onions. There's a lot of different sizes of onions. About that much onion.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
if that was a
big
sphere,
hand.
like that handful with a sphere.
If you put your hand into a big pile of chopped
okay, that
onion,
much.
about as much as you could fit in that much of a hand.
Okay.
Right, and then just some carrot.
Yeah. How?
Like about that long.
Oh, like one carrot of about that length.
One or two smaller ones, whatever you've got lying around. I'm not. 3 celery sticks.
Okay.
And then you do them into like 3 and chop them up.
Yeah.
And then like a little bit of oil, and then like some protein. You want to redo the protein,
how much protein should
just
I
like
have?
one of them again.
We're doing the handful measurement again.
That's what I've got. I've got hands.
You do have hands.
Yeah.
I know you also have, like, scales. I bought you some.
Yeah, I use those for baking.
Not for handfuls of protein.
No, just like a handful of protein.
Okay.
And then like a bunch of garlic.
A bunch of garlic.
Like about that much.
That's like
That's a smaller handful.
That's like a fistful.
Well, yeah. They say you measure garlic with your heart. I imagine my heart is about that big. That's about how much garlic I want. Generally speaking.
Okay.
You enjoyed it, right?
It was delicious.
Well, there you go. Garlic, good. Bit of smoked paprika.
Yeah.
Like, just a...
Just a weird fluttering of the hand.
Yeah, just a weird...
I'm sprinkling fairy dust so that Peter Pan can fly off to Neverland.
Oh no, a bit more than that.
Okay.
Slightly more than Neverland.
Okay, a 1.2 Neverlands worth of paprika.
Maybe a 2 Neverland trip around the pan.
Okay.
A 2 Neverland trip around the pan of smoked paprika.
Okay.
And then maybe some liquid aminos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you fry it all together.
Yeah.
And then maybe add some gravy granules if it's a bit thin afterwards. If it's a bit watery. Oh yeah, I forgot there's chopped tomatoes in there as well. Put the chopped tomatoes and then you rinse the chopped tomato, and then you don't want too much water, but about that much in the bottom. And then you just pour that in the pan, and then you simmer that for about 10 minutes. And if it's still a bit runny after that, as I say, just put some gravy granules and that'll thicken that all right up. Oh, and a teaspoon of Marmite. But not a whole teaspoon. But not a level teaspoon, because it never comes out of the thing. And just that, a ball about that much on the end of a teaspoon.
I really look forward to eating this next time I'm at yours.
You're welcome! Who's for dessert? So, what have you put in your eye?
It's been a low brain kind of week. I've not been watching anything of any great,
Same.
Any great degree of brain.
No brain.
Honestly, I've mostly been watching, two different YouTube, video game playthroughs by the same channel.
Oh, yes.
The lovely Woolly Verses on YouTube. I've been watching their playthrough with someone called Reggie of Dark Souls Remastered.
Yes.
We've talked about on here before about their playthrough together of the Demon Souls Remastered last year. I really enjoy watching them go through Souls games together because Wooly is someone who very much knows his Souls games and is like, hey Reggie, as a newcomer to this series, we'll tackle a new game. I'll leave room, I won't quarterback too hard, I'll leave you room to make your own mistakes, but I will give you the context the game doesn't really give you, the tools and tips the game doesn't really give you, and sort of remind you of the things that are, take some learning with the Souls series.
Yeah.
And, he takes some opportunities to watch Reggie screw up and have a bit of a laugh. But it's generally a very, welcoming, hey, I want to see you succeed kind of series, which I really appreciate. I want more of that kind of Souls content. More of that kind of gaming content in general. Hard game, someone teach you and not laugh at you when you don't know it already.
Yeah.
And the other one I've been watching is another one that's a follow-up to a sequel on that channel I already like, which is Wooly, Reggie, and their friend Min playing through Dokubon Journey for the DS. So Dokubon Kingdom is a Wii game. It's a big multiplayer RPG where there's a lot of opportunities to fuck each other over and to cause, like, oh no, chaos ensued and everyone's a little bit mock angry at each other. Not actually, but like, you have done a big bad and now we're having a play fight. Dokubon Journey is a DS remake of a Super Nintendo game. Much earlier game in the series, much simpler in its mechanics. A lot of things are simplified. But it's still very much the same idea of go take a bunch of towns and do side quests and get material and level up your character and do big main quests. But also there is like a financial investment system and randomized item wheels and a fun catch-up mechanic where the person in last place can become an ultra-powerful demon and just sort of wreak havoc on the board. A fun source of chaos. I very much enjoyed their Dokubon Journey playthrough, and I've been enjoying their Dokubon Kingdom one as well. It's been fun. What about you? What have you been watching?
Lots of weird stuff on YouTube. Not really had time for like films or shows or anything, but I did watch a 2-hour and 20-minute video or documentary thing on Rob Scallon's channel on YouTube about building a guitar from scratch with a Pro Luthier. And it talks about like how very fancy, like $100,000 guitars are made. Like classical 6 strings, and like talking about like how the wood is aged and how it has to be conditioned to be in like specially treated so that as different things happen to the wood as it will age or be treated, that it doesn't end up, with fucking like where the water within, like even the smallest amount of water within the wood is doing weird things. And just talking about like how long they've had some of this equipment, and like looking around their studio, it's all like custom built jigs and like wood things that they've built themselves, specific tools for doing this one particular job of building really beautiful guitars. Which is cool because I've never seen a guitar built before, so that was a fascinating way to watch it. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with all of their materials. It's not the most vegan of things. Like there was giraffe bone in there. Shellac, which is in fucking everything. I think giraffe bone was probably the one that got me. Just like, I'm sorry, what?
That's one of those ones that you're like, how did you put that in a guitar and not go? Am I doing something wrong here?
Well, like they were even questioning it at the time. Like Rob's like, and you can just buy giraffe femur, can you? Oh yeah, where'd you get it? eBay. Where'd you get it from? Japan. It was a giraffe that had lived a full life, and it was a zoo animal, and when it died at the age of 30, it was like, is 30 young for a giraffe? I don't know giraffe lifespan, but like I'm already concerned by this particular thing. And then like rendered animal fat loose, because it's traditional. Like, but it was fascinating to watch. Like the building of the things and all the planing and the how things are shaped and why things are shaped the way they are and why like cheaper instruments are maybe not as good. What faults they will have as a result of their sort of slightly cheaper makingness. What about you?
That's basically everything I've watched this week.
Everything you've watched. I did watch another video on Rob's channel of the Crystal Bachette. It's another water harp. Have you seen the water harp? The thing with the swirling, it's on like a rotating thing, and you have like a foot pedal to make this central thing rotate, and then you put your finger on it, and It's like playing the edge of a glass.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing I would recommend people check out. It's a weird thing.
But what if but instead of being like a rotating thing that you play as it spins,
Yeah.
it's glass strips, glass rods
Ooh.
that are sat out on like a keyboard, and they're attached to these poles which are tuned, and by running your finger across them or tugging them
Yeah.
slightly with a wettened finger, it makes that resonate, and it plays like it's slightly haunting, like most water-based instruments are. Fascinating bit of equipment.
I love weird instruments.
Oh yeah, same. And I think that's why I can very often fall down that rabbit hole of what has YouTube got for weird instruments today? Or the other one is I keep bumping into, not watched recently, but I think it's Samurai Guitar.
Yeah.
Does a whole series of like, here is weird shit that people make for guitars.
Yeah.
Like electrical bows. Things that just resonate a guitar string that you like put over it and like press a button and it makes a string vibrate like it's being played with a bow.
Oh.
Weird shit like that. Turning a 6 string into a 12 string with just this thing that like straps over the the on the bottom of the guitar.
Yeah.
You've got the little thing for putting your shoulder strap on.
Yes.
You put this 6 string harp over the top of it. It straps to the top. It's held at the top with a capo. And you turn a stick string into a 12 string.
Cool.
Like, I don't have a guitar. I can't play guitar. I'm not interested in trying. I've tried to learn before. I do not have the manual dexterity for it.
Same.
But it is fascinating going, people have invented all this weird shit for guitars.
Yay.
I think that's everything I have watched this week.
Well, that's everything I've watched this week as well.
Well then.
Time for this.
Laura, got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you sometimes find that you have very chilly toes?
I do, yeah.
But, maybe I am like, oof, bit warm.
Indeed,
Bit too warm.
Sometimes I'm a bit of a radiator and you're elsewhere and a bit of a chili bean.
I am very chilly bean.
Our temperatures are often, we could do with a little bit of each other's. We're a bit too much on the extremes.
We could. Yeah. I have the worst circulation. Indeed. And for the most part, you are a radiator person.
Indeed. That's great when we're in, we're just chilling in bed or something. Trap the warms and get an equal distribution. Yeah. Not so good when, we're sat on other sofas and, there's nothing trapping the warms.
No, well, what if there was a thing that trapped the warms?
Oh, how are we going to deal with our warms?
Would you like to try the relationship air conditioning system when you and your partner run at completely different temperature? It siphons the heat of one straight into the other.
Oh, heck, we don't need electricity to make heat to, pump at your chilly toes. Just use some of my overly warm hand temperature. Just send it over there.
That'll be like the special capillaries will just siphon off that warm and into my toesy toes.
This sounds like a very good use of my always being too warm.
And my always being too cold.
Always too warm.
Well, that's all right. I will siphon off of all of my cold.
Hooray!
Like an air conditioning system.
You can take some of my warm rather than needing to turn more warm on, and then I'm like, oh no, I've got even more warm. Take it. Use the air conditioning system.
Also, it helps with the whole keeping the planet good because we're using less emissions.
We're using the heat our bodies have already made.
Yeah, the naturally given heat.
Exactly.
As opposed to anything else. So head on over to relationshipairconditioningsystem.lol.net and enter the code Q&PS191 to get £191 off of the full installation and first year's servicing for your relationship air conditioner system.
Lovely.
Yeah. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, we got a bit of a problem.
Yeah?
So, you know, when people were getting a bit grumbly at us recently because, you know, harassment in the workplace and stuff. And
Yeah, and we hired that chick, that dame, that doll.
yeah, that
Miniskirt.
missus that stayed around for like a week, and
Yeah.
it was enough
Yeah,
to
what
get us
happened to
headlines.
her?
Oh, she had a terrible time, but she stuck around long enough to get us the good headlines. So it's all
Yeah,
good,
we like put her in like diversity or something.
yeah, exactly, and then didn't pay her as much as us.
I mean, isn't that what diversity is about?
Exactly.
It was diverse from how we get paid.
Exactly. So, yeah, here's the problem.
Yeah.
One of the ways we try to like get them to stop shouting at us about the whole harassment thing is we said we were going to take a zero tolerance policy on harassment because, you know, we didn't think they'd find out about any more of it.
Yeah, zero tolerance on reporting of harassment.
Yeah, they've interpreted it as zero tolerance of people doing the harassing, and they want us to fire one of the execs.
Right.
Like, one of the ones that, like, you know, we like, who's good, who we like having money.
Reg?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Like,
can't we just, what if we just move into another department or something?
well, see, this is what I'm thinking, because, like, yeah, we gotta find a solution where we're like, we do something, but not actually anything, and it doesn't look like we've walked back on, like, zero tolerance policy, oh no, it's Reg that did it, oh, gotta have some tolerance for that behavior.
Okay, what if we talk to HR?
Yeah.
And we just conjure up an entirely fake exec, right?
Oh,
we'll use one of those AI generated images of a person.
Oh,
we'll put them up on the company website.
Yeah,
we'll say, hey, it's that guy. He's the abusive one, and then we'll be publicly fire him.
We'll do the thing where we feed like 100 or 200 like descriptions of executives into a thing, and that'll you know, pump out a generic executive dude.
Yeah.
I reckon that works. I think if we fire someone fictional, we definitely had zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance for that one guy.
Yeah, while, you know, very much having tolerance for Reg, because he's a Reg.
Yeah, I go golfing with Reg.
Exactly. Who's gonna bring me mimosas in the afternoon that we can drink together and talk about the interns being scum, if not Reg?
Right? You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears?
I haven't listened to a lot, but I've listened to a couple of new songs I wanted to talk about.
Oh.
Let me find that. So there was a track called A Soreness So Familiar It Soon Became Unquestioned by, I didn't write down the fucking band name. I need to double check the band name. I remember the band name being real fucking stupid, and I'm now realizing I didn't fucking tell you whatever this terrible band name is.
Oopsie.
It's by Crywank. I knew I needed to tell you the name of this fucking band. Wait, fucking that.
Sure.
It's quite a contrast with the title.
Sure.
So that's A Soreness So Familiar It Becomes Unquestioned by
because of the
Crywank.
Have you wanked yourself sore there, friend? Is that what's happened?
I mean, it's an interestingly like low tone rhythmic acoustic punk track about low-level mental health issues that you know, don't realise for a long time are bad or aren't normal. You know, that wonderful feeling of, wait, not everyone has this in their brain all the time. You know, being like, it just seems normal because I don't know anything else. Interesting, good track. Liked it a lot. There's also a track called Chaotic Good by Hey Steve, which the best way I can describe it is, what if Blur sang a song about a D&D alignment? With occasional upbeat la-la-las to sort of mix up the energy. But also it's clearly about someone who wants to have kinky sex with his D&D friend. Like, there's a lot going on in that fucking song.
Yeah.
It is a fun, enjoyable, weird little journey. I really enjoyed a track called Binary by The Spook School. A Scottish person singing about the beauty of fluidity and the space outside the binary in a gentle, upbeat sort of folk punk, using computers as a reference point and being like, hey, binary is great for some things, it's not great for everything. here are all the beautiful, wonderful things that exist when, we're not trying to ones and zeros on and off everything. It makes really interesting use of, like, having occasional bits where, like, there should be a word and in its place is some well-rhythmed out zeros and ones in combination to just sort of keep bringing the binary theme back in, and it uses that as a, like, storytelling motif really well. It's a great little track. Just about, like, hey, the world wants us to be binary, but we're more than that. And it's a lovely track. I recommend it a lot.
Nice.
What have you listened to this week?
I finished listening to that Andy Serkis reads The Hobbit that I was talking about last week.
Yeah.
That was very good, and I'd forgotten how good The Hobbit is when it's not being butchered by Peter Jackson. I don't think I've ever technically read it. It was, quote unquote. So my mum used to love telling the story that I'd read The Hobbit before I went to school. Me, dyslexic, struggles with everything. She sat me there and just went, read that. And every time I couldn't read a word properly, she would make me sort of sound it out. And if it sounded close enough to the word, she'd let me move on to the next bit.
Yeah.
And I was forced to do that before I went to school. I still couldn't read properly.
Yeah.
I still couldn't do any of the other things. She was not as accomplished as she thought she was in that particular aspect.
I mean, thought she was or wanted to be?
Wanted to be, I guess. But she loved to tell people that, oh yes, she read The Hobbit before she went to school.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I don't think I've ever actually read it myself. I've listened to audio dramas of it. I've obviously had whatever that experience was at the age of 4.
I think you've at this point basically read it.
Yeah, I know. I remember a couple of times, because I own her original copy. Like, the copy she bought herself fresh out of, like, her first job. I've tried to sit down with it a few times and just been like, I don't have the time or patience to read through this. And that was fine. So it was nice to read, like, have it read to me and get through it and just enjoy that experience. And Serkis has a very pleasant voice.
Oh, Andy Serkis is great.
And fun fact, the version I was listening to got pulled down. The same channel put it straight back up again. And I finished listening to it. But since then I have had it advertised to me, exactly the same version, from about 8 different YouTube channels on my recommended page. So if you want it, it's there.
Yay!
And I've also tracked down on YouTube the complete Lord of the Rings, which is about 30 hours long.
It's a journey, I'll tell you that much.
It's about a year-long journey. I will probably get started on that at some point, because I'm way bigger fan of The Hobbit. But I remember the first time I tried to read through that, took me like 8 months just to get through the first book.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of very dull stuff about trees. And when you are a teenager,
you don't
reading 300 pages about how beautiful trees are can be difficult.
Yeah. If you're already struggling with reading, 300 pages of tree chat ain't gonna help.
Tolkien was so horny for trees, though.
Tolkien wanted to fuck a tree. I'm pretty fucking convinced he just wanted to stick his dick in a hole in a tree.
Ecosexual, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he invented the tree ents, and now there's a tree that can consent.
Where did the Entwives go? Tolkien's place. That's what really happens. Stolfangorn's partner. Off they went, scurried away. Off to Birmingham. I listen to other things. I will tell you about those things. I listened to a track called Creature by Half Alive. It is a sound that keeps showing up on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because it is. I think it's supposed to be about Jesus. That, like, Jesus doesn't actually come up as a mention in it, and for quite a while.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people in the
Oh, is this the one that's going around religious trauma LGBT talk?
there's a lot of people talking about relating this to LGBT trauma or to religious trauma. There's a lot of people who's like, I relate to this as a trans person.
Oh god, yeah. It's this is the one that's like very like I'm reclaiming my body as, you know, holy and unholy in equal measures.
Yes,
Kind of.
I am a creation both haunted and holy.
Yeah, no, I 100% understand where it's coming from. I have my own religious shit that as a trans person I'm like, oh hell yeah, I relate to this. I fully support the movement to just claim it from the Jesus people going like, nah, it's ours now.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're taking that last verse out and that weird thing that it does with the tempo towards the end, and
yeah.
we're just going to have all the good bits in a 20-second TikTok chunk. And I think that is everything I've listened to.
Well then, look at this.
Hi, yeah, come in. There's coffee over there. There's donuts.
Thank you. I really appreciate the invitation along with
this. Okay, everyone is very welcome here. Okay, everyone, should we gather around? Should we gather around, everyone? Let's just form a circle. Okay, everyone. We'll just get a bit settled. We've got a few new faces here today. I can see a few of you. It's clearly very recent. So who would like to start us off?
I'd like to start if it's okay.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself to the group?
I'm Bill, and I've been running a D&D campaign for the last gosh, it's been about like 3 years we've been on this campaign, and we were right there at the finish line. We were gonna fight the final boss. We were gonna retire the campaign and start something new. And they completely... I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
They befriended a random goat and decided this goat was the future of the campaign, and they've just been following the goat around in circles for weeks. Everything is about the goat now. I'm having to make up weeks of content about a goat instead of my carefully planned endgame.
Okay, well, you're in the right place. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have a story they'd like to share? Anyone?
Yeah, Hi, my name's Keith. I was telling a sci-fi story. It was largely set on this one space station, and I just thought, maybe fun little cleaning robot, just like a fun bit of comedy side relief. And my characters have spent the last 6 sessions, a total of about 18 hours now, just trying to learn everything about how to make this robot into a sort of super powerful being by building it a full-sized robot body, and it really is just a Roomba with a face.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, we've probably got time for one more. Does anyone else wish to like just tell us a story?
I've got one. My name's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
And so I don't know how to talk about this. I've got some high charisma characters in our play session. I know, but bards are fun and they come up with, there's good opportunities to have them.
Not too bad.
But here's the problem. Our bard has successfully seduced the last 19 encounters into being friends and or sexual companions, and definitely party members. I don't know how we got here, but I now have to voice 19 different NPCs who were meant to be boss-level threats, who didn't have their fights done, while the bard flirts with every one of them every session. I've been roped into virtual polyamory where I'm having a relationship with another character, with the player character and myself. I wasn't ready to have a relationship with myself.
I mean, it's a tale that we hear a lot here. You're very welcome here. This is a story that I think we all understand, don't we?
Yeah.
Grabnar the Unkillable just enjoys star-shaped chocolates now.
But definitely not dead. That's the important thing.
No, just
Okay, I think we're going to take a little break now, everyone. Thanks so much. Why don't you grab, there's more coffee over there, and we do have donuts. If anyone needs a smoke break, it is just through the doors down the hall. Thank you, thank you.
Power Rangers. Chromia is trying to take over Angel Grove. I'm gonna have to send you out with Clive.
Oh, we're finally gonna get to meet the new Beige Ranger.
Mastodon!
Triceratops!
Saber-toothed tiger!
Pterodactyl!
A 1967 Ford Cortina. Gets very good mileage, you see.
Ah, what does it transform into?
Oh, I mean, it's a four-door.
I'm excited to find out how you'll combine with the Megazord to help us save the day.
Oh, it's just gonna, it's gonna just drive us over there.
I mean, we can sort of do that ourselves. Don't worry, we'll head off and we'll meet you there, and I'm sure you will, we're excited to see what you do.
Okay, see you soon, chums.
A considerable time later. Hey, you're finally here, Clive. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Time to take Chromia down.
Oh, we did that like 4 hours ago.
Oh.
Honestly, we were kind of worried that something had happened to you. We wanted to, like, wait here because, like, we didn't want you to get here and not find us. What happened?
Oh, I was very careful. I took the A roads, Best to stay off the motorways as well. So, it's a speed limit, not a target.
Well, I mean, your car is very low emissions. That's at least going to help us fight Poluticorn.
Oh, we have to do Poluticorn next.
We might as well while we're here, I guess.
Okay, hop in, chums. I'll just, in you go. Shall I move the seat forward for you? Have you got enough leg room back there?
Not really, but fine.
Clive, away! Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors?
Yeah. All right, Larry.
All right, Barry. How you doing?
Oh, a bit tired. Been up and about, long day.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I've had a big old long one today.
Yeah, well, we were up for that protest, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had a conversion therapy one going on.
Yeah.
It's
More than that, eh?
I mean, it's been a big old long day.
Yeah.
I was surprised how many people did not know that was a thing going on.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they kept it pretty hush-hush. I mean, we didn't even know where we were supposed to be going until first thing this morning.
Yeah, it was like a 6 a.m. message being like, right, I guess that's where we're going. But yeah, it's unsurprisingly, people that preach for conversion therapy don't like to publicise that fact because they are aware people will push back against it. They are aware it's not a position that they do well with under scrutiny.
No.
Yeah, it was a lot. Watching right-wing Christian people in the UK, so brazenly try and get members of Parliament to just support their stances and doing so with such fucking weaselly language. Like,
Yeah.
the level of, oh no, we're not trying to force anyone to not be gay or not be trans. We just want the option to do so if someone wants us to. Which completely ignores, like,
coercing, very left-wing language of consent and so forth and things like that just to try and, make it a little bit more palatable when what they're doing is absolutely abhorrent.
Well, like, a thing that was, like, very clear, I taught it briefly to one of the people speaking at it when he came out, and he kept trying to present it as like, well, it's okay if you've got, consent, and, if someone's consented to conversion therapy from their church, and it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of situations that would be permitted under what you want that are not, not really consent,
Yeah, what kind of pressures has that person been put under in order to get to this plot point where they're like, I suppose I consent, yeah.
Well, like, a really good example is, kids under 18. If you are in a religious family and you're under 18, let's say your parents are religious, there's a very good chance you won't feel safe, saying no to conversion therapy because what if the people who keep food and a roof over your head do not support you.
Yeah,
You
if your general needs just to live are being withheld for you until you consent, that's not consent.
Exactly, and like, on top of that, you got stuff like, even if we're just talking about adults, let's say you're someone who's been religious your whole life, has been a Christian your whole life, there is a certain degree of, I will go to hell for this. And that is a pressure that could, persuade someone to consent to something they don't want to do. There is religious group pressure, there is other people telling you, this is the way to fix yourself, and you're terrible if you don't, and you're not trying hard enough and praying hard enough if you don't. That is going to get people to quote-unquote consent who aren't actually consenting. They just don't feel they have an option to say no.
Yeah, and let's be fair, this isn't any kind of therapy, despite what they're going to call it. It is essentially, hate yourself and torture yourself until such time as you conform in a way that they find acceptable.
Build enough self-loathing and self-hatred that you are able to bottle down, at least for a while. Let's note that usually it doesn't last very long, but for a while, bottle down who you are at great personal mental expense.
Yeah, look at the number of ex-gay people who've, years later come back and go, no, I was brainwashed, I apologise for all the damage I did while I was, a figurehead for that movement. And,
but again, they'll ditch them as soon as that's their stance, and they'll find some new, freshly out people to jump on, but,
terrible.
Yeah, it's a lot, and, at the very least, people now know that shit was going on, and attention was brought to it. And if nothing else, we made him feel fucking uncomfortable coming in. Which
they, Nazis and fascists and bigots of all stripes should be made to feel uncomfortable and afraid and unwelcome, because they are.
Yeah, every time I saw one of them have to walk into that venue, doing the head down shame walk of not wanting to acknowledge what they were doing, I was like, just hold on to that feeling for a bit.
Yeah,
maybe remember, why are you feeling guilty? Maybe examine that.
Yeah. Would you like some therapy?
I mean,
that, maybe forgiveness and, actually letting some love into your heart.
Exactly.
Hug, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go, some love in your heart. Yeah. Good hug, mate, good hug. Right, I think I'll go and pop the kettle on.
I'm having an early night.
Oh, nice one. You rest, mate, you rest.
Yeah, thanks.
So, Laura.
Yes?
We've got a book.
We do!
Yeah, we do.
It's called Who Hunts the Whale?
It is called Who Hunts the Whale.
It's a novel. We did a novel together.
Yeah.
We did a read-through of it. It's real good. We read the whole thing start to finish, and we were real happy with it.
5 or 6 hours of good book there.
Yeah, we had a real good time going through a real good book, and we're adding even more good book to it before we're done.
Yeah, I've done a second draft on January and February.
Indeed, and I'm going to have a look at those tomorrow.
Oh.
But yeah, if you want to support that book, if you search Who Hunts the Whale Unbound, or if you go to unbound.com/books/whale, you can find the book. Go do it as support. Order a copy. It'll help us to be able to do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your support means that we can put the thing out and you can go, I have the thing, and then you can read the thing.
And then you can be like, ha 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 ha. Also, the people in the gaming industry should unionize.
In this fictional book, definitely.
Definitely.
No parallels you could draw to the real world, I'm sure.
What even is a parallel?
It's not a thing I'd know about.
Something to do with map coordinates, right? Something like that.
That's Who Hunts the Whale. Go give it a look.
Unbound.com/books/whale.
Yeah.
Give it a look. What else you do?
Laura K. Buzz in all the places. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon. That's the one that pays the bills. TikTok. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to make TikToks about. I just haven't had the mental brain space for it, but I'll start doing that again soon. You can find my other books if you search them. They're out now. Uncomfortable Labels. Things I Learned from Mario's Butt. Gender Euphoria. They're just out now. You can go check them out. Go get them. You get them as if you like. You can get 2 of those as a signed bundle with Who Hunts the Whale if you want some signed books. Other than that, other podcasts, Pixel Squirts about video game porn, Podquisition, we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. Dice Funk is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Each season's its own story. I'm on seasons 3 through 8. What about you? What you do over there, my wifey woo?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm writing that book.
Yeah.
But I do other stuff too.
Yeah.
I stream. I'm on the Twitter. I watch TikTok. I do not make stuff there for it. I've had some ideas. I do not have time. I make t-shirts. They're available from my Redbubble. You can get a frighteningly gay shirt, or who knows what else.
I approve of the frighteningly gay shirt. Some days I'm just feeling frighteningly gay.
Sometimes everyone's a little bit frighteningly gay. It's got a cute bunny on it that's cute. What else? I do all sorts of things. Most of my stuff can be found at patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. That's the one that pays my pays my bills. Yes, it buys me pickles.
Yay! Pickles.
Pickles.
For you, not for me. I'm a trans girl travesty. I don't like pickles.
I will eat your pickles. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can help me fund pickles. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week as well. Or if you wanted to get early access to Grim Pleasant Strangers and things of that nature, that is also available there for as little as $10 a month. All of my links can be found at streamerlinks.com/Janiac, JANEIAC. Thank you very much for joining us, Laura. Sing us out. Sing us out. Do that thing.
Until next time, be a stranger. Go Beige Ranger.
Go Beige Ranger. Do go Beige Ranger. And chums.